The best mindset, I believe, just to give you it straight up, is you taking short excerpts, short extracts from all of these different smart, intelligent people that you relate to, that you think are intelligent, that you think are capable, and then you apply it to your situation. So for example, if you hear something really, really relatable from David Goggins, you take it, put it into your situation, bunch of different people, and maybe even yourself, right? If you go through trials and tribulations and you learn from your failures. But there are some toxic and corruptive mindsets out there. Some mindsets that actually will stunt your growth. Things like that: I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead, I'm gonna work all day, I'm never gonna give myself a break. And they can lead you down a very, very bad path. Almost so bad that once you realize that you're down this bad path, you may actually have to climb your way back up. So now in this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 different parts of my mindset that I really, really love. The first is everything is good. Have the notion in your mind that everything is good for you. Whether it's something bad, you got diagnosed with some disease, someone said something to you, good. Everything is good, because this is like, I'll explain this in 2 ways. So the first way is through Alex Hormozi. He said that you cannot fail. You can either learn or win. Every time you fail, there's an opportunity to learn. And the second way to explain this is through a popular video from Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink is this like hard Navy SEAL, David Goggins type motherfucker, and he has a YouTube channel, right? And if you just go look this up, Jocko Willink, good. Everything is good. And it's basically like a short clip of him saying, the weather's cold, good. You don't want to leave your house, the couch is so warm, good. Some shit like that, right? You find out your wife's cheating on you, good. And this is really a mindset you have to drill in, right? If you don't know anything about mindset and you're a complete beginner, you're not even on self-improvement. I remember specifically one of my friends in the gym, he said he injured his chest, or his chest is like feeling a little bit weird. He tore some shit in his like muscle ligament, and I replied, good. And there's been a series of events of this happening with this specific friend, right? And I remember one day he just said, oh, you have such a good mindset. You say good to everything. You just kind of take everything as a good. And then I explained to him why I thought his muscle like tear was good. His muscle ligament like sore shit was good. And it's because if the muscle is like teared or slightly like more inflamed than usual, then perhaps you'll get more muscle engagement in that specific muscle, because your brain's felt it now. Your brain's super feeling it. And this is like a super, super popular thing in the fitness industry, where you like tear a muscle or you do something to your muscle and it grows back insanely stronger. So just take everything as good. The girl rejected you, good. Now you have 3 months of pure motivation in the gym. Someone's picking on you, good. Strong trauma that will fuel you in the gym and your work for ages, just to prove them wrong. Your family situation isn't able to provide enough money, you're slowly going downhill, time feels like it's running out, there's lots of pressure, your mum's working hard and you're trying to work as hard as possible because the rent's due or some shit. Good. You have pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. And this circumstance, this hard time, will create a strong man, and it will enforce a trauma into your brain to make you a rich man in the future. You see this often in these young self-made millionaires like Ivan Gaji. They've experienced poverty, extreme poverty, and that has led them to have a trauma to never want to feel that shit ever again. Bam! 25 years old, multi-millionaire. So now the second thing is take responsibility for absolutely everything. Now I just want to give you a sort of more recent example with me practicing this mindset, right? And it's with this girl that I was pretty attracted to, and she was pretty attracted to me, I'd say. And we went through this like whole interaction that has unfortunately seemed to fade out a little bit. I think maybe we're not compatible or whatever. I don't know how to diagnose this situation right now, but essentially, so this is the peak of the bell curve or whatever it's called. This is like us like making eye contact and then sitting together and like this, and then down here was the time that she walked out alone, and I went to the toilet before this, right? She walked out alone of her class, and she was just standing there in the cold wind. It was dark and it was rainy. It's cold wind. And I felt super fucking bad for that. I felt a sense of responsibility. I felt like I shouldn't leave her there. I felt like I was a sort of pussy beta male for leaving her in the cold rain. Another way of taking responsibility that is really, if you think about this on a logical scale, you really shouldn't take responsibility for this. It's really not your fault, but it's good to take responsibility. So an example here would be your mum going out to work extremely hard, and she's keeping all of our heads above water and keeping us fed, keeping the house warm, and you take responsibility for the situation you are in now. For example, if you're still like a little bit poor and the rent is due next month, your mum's working a little bit too hard, she might have some health problems, take responsibility of that and say, this is all my fault. God has put me on this planet to rescue my mum. I have to save her. I have to work really hard and save all of us. I'm responsible for this family. Now, taking this stance will bring so many benefits. It will bring you like enthusiasm and this sort of like time's running out, rent's due, we gotta escape. I'm gonna hit the age of 18 soon and I'm gonna be put out into the world with no degree. This is my only chance to escape this YouTube channel, this SMMA, this dropshipping business. It's my only escape. It's my only plan A. I don't have a plan B. And it puts a sense of in control. You get what I mean? Like, you are the controller of your fate. There is God or whatever, right? You can still have that on the side, but it gives you a good, strong sense of control. I control where my fate goes. And it gives you the notion in your mind that hard work, my direct, hard and honest work correlates to my success. And that is a strong mindset to have, especially when you're young. If you have that when you're young, Jesus Christ, bro, you're going to end up in places. Now, the third part is delaying gratification. Now, this is a very popular term in the self-improvement industry. It's essentially, you just have to know which type of fun you want. So instant gratification is TikTok, drugs, fucking girls, drinking, partying. That is instant gratification. You get this dopamine hit, this happiness in the moment, and then it literally goes down below baseline level. So let's say you starting here, you drink the drugs, drink the drugs, you do the drugs, and it goes up, right? Your happiness levels goes up, but look, this is baseline, right? This is where you started without doing the drugs. It goes down below. Whereas the second type of gratification, the delayed gratification, is what I believe, at least for me, is the true form of happiness. The more fulfilling, the more wholesome type of happiness. And this is simply working for 3 hours to a business that really suits you and like is your gift to the world, basically. This business is your gift to the world. And doing like 3-4 hours, and then you come out of that work session and you experience this as your happiness. This very fulfilling happiness, knowing that the more days you contribute to this work, the more hours, the more work bouts you do, is a direct correlation to your mum being retired at an early age, for example. Another form of delayed gratification could be cold showers, for example. It sucks at the beginning and it takes a long time to get into the shower because you're moping around and shit. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I'm going to go fucking wash the dishes and then do some side tasks just to sort of avoid this cold shower. But then as soon as you go into the cold shower, take that discomfort. Right after the cold shower, you will feel a good sense of joy, a sense of accomplishment. Not to mention, I don't know where I heard this from, probably Andrew Huberman or some shit. Apparently cold showers give you more of a high than cocaine. So it like 2.5 times is your happiness, and cocaine 2.2 times is or some shit. It's something like that, right? But the big difference is that cocaine is a sharp spike immediately, that happiness, that sharp spike, and that's what leads to habitual use, whereas the cold shower is like a gradual increase. but it's still like fucking above cocaine in terms of happiness levels. Because you get to a point, right? This is the current stage I'm at in life, where if you do some form of instant gratification, for example, scrolling on YouTube, scrolling on TikTok, or literally porn or whatever else, if I do that now, at the stage I'm in, maybe like 2 years of self-improvement, I feel depressed. I feel like I've just wasted my time. I feel like that time where I've spent scrolling on YouTube, I could have done more work to retire my mum. My mum's still walking out in the cold rain, and I'm here sitting on TikTok, and that gives me instant depressive feelings, even if it's not as bad as porn, right? Even if it's just literally scrolling on YouTube for a little bit longer than I planned, because I'm scrolling for like video ideas or whatever, right? And I accidentally get into a social media rabbit hole. This guy's making a homemade fucking longbow, and he's gonna go 3 days hunting with it. And then I literally go into that video and I watch like 30 minutes of it, and then afterwards I click off, snap back to reality, and I'm depressed. So now the fourth example is a mindset from The Way of the Superior Man, and it's acting as my phone holder right now, so I can't really show you the book. And essentially the best way for me to explain this to you is through an example where I was chatting to my friend about his situation with a girl. Essentially, bro got asked out by this girl to have lunch with him, and the girl literally texted him afterwards, when would you like to have lunch? But the thing is, my friend didn't want to go out to lunch with this girl, and so he was debating it with me, and he was like sharing thoughts with me on what to do in his current situation. Do I tell her? Do I just ignore her? Do I wait it out? That's literally what he was asking me. And so what I said was, you have to tell her with effective communication in a polite manner that you do not want to go out with her, and that you are in the heat of the moment, and this is all your mistake. Take all of the responsibility for it. Get it? Get it? Number 2, take responsibility. Because if you ignore her now, even though she's texted you and you've literally read the text, and she's probably seen that you've read the text, she may actually end up getting some weird psychological trauma in her brain, like some small error in her brain to think that men are just this cruel. So what you have to do is tell her straight up that you made a mistake in a chivalrous white knight type of way. Because if you don't do that, she may end up going down a very, very bad rabbit hole of becoming like the two polarities, right? So this is a virgin farm girl that goes to church, super innocent, never even like seen a fucking man like except her father or before or some shit. And this side is like a 1,000 body count tattooed traumatized girl that's like got a boob job or some shit. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like these two polarities, right? And if you ignore her now and you make her think that men are cruel, or at least add something to her brain, add a point to her brain to think that men are cruel, you may actually end up making her into this 1,000 body count tattooed girl. So to preserve any amount of innocence she has left, because we don't know her past experience with any boys, whatever boyfriend she's had before, right? To preserve that amount of innocence for maybe her future husband, because there's a high chance that she's gonna have a husband in the future, right? Preserve this innocence for the sake of her future husband, to not give her this psychological trauma of thinking men are cruel, and literally tell her that it is your mistake in a white knight type of way. That will actually make the future husband thank you now, because you've not fucked up his wife. That's literally the level you have to think. This is like long term. This is like the superior man's way of thinking. This is the superior way of delaying gratification. Like, you have to see super, super long term with this shit. And the last and final part of my mindset is God. And why God is a good mindset is, it's sort of another version of the everything is good mindset. For example, if I see that a girl's rejected me, or a girl's done something wrong, or someone's picking on me, I see it as a challenge from God. A challenge from God to build me up to be the man at the end of his plan for me. So this like a rich, successful, intelligent, wise guy. So that's me at the end of God's plan for me, right? Maybe at like 90 years old or some shit. And I just see these challenges that he gives me, this bad feeling that he gives me, this problem I have to solve here. I just see it as a challenge that God's given me personally to build me up, to give me that little trauma in my brain that gives me the kick and gives me motivation. And this really only works if you see deep into the future. For example, if you take everything at the present moment in face value, some girls rejected you. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm unattractive, whatever. But then if you take yourself out of the situation, stop looking into the scope of the rifle, broaden your view, think about God, and God has given you this scenario because he wants you to fucking push harder in the gym or some shit. He's purposely made this girl reject you because maybe in the future, your wife's you're gonna meet your wife or some shit. And if you were to go along with this girl now, you wouldn't actually meet your actual soulmate. You can there's a lot of different variations to think about it, but essentially, God is like the ultimate form of thinking everything's good. It's like the ultimate mindset. God is the ultimate mindset. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. In a bit.